Welcome back to the Milk and Cookies podcast. It's Anthony. Alex and Leon unfortunately aren't here. No, they're not dead. Alex and Leon just had prior commitments to this day. But I'm joined here with my special guest, Frankie. He's from Cincinnati, Ohio, and he's also a Cincinnati Bengals fan. And today's episode is our final mock draft of the 2021 NFL draft. And this is what we think is going to happen. So, Alex, not Frankie, do you want to take us off and see who you want number one?
Now, you can call me either way, Anthony. First off, it's an honor to be on this edition of the Milk and Cookies podcast. Let's get right down to it. I mean, if you're giving me the first pick, I'm ready. I think we all know the consensus on who the first pick is going to be.
It's going to be Trevor Lawrence out of
Yep.
Clemson.
So with the first pick, I'm taking Trevor Lawrence out of Clemson. Not much needed to say here, Anthony. Once in a generation talent, an uberly talented passer, can throw any pass, any angle. I'm not trying to be like Dane Brugler or Daniel Jeremiah or Bucky Brooks or anything, but consensus number one pick is so ready to take over a franchise and maybe be the best quarterback that Jacksonville's ever had.
All right, and then now going on with the second pick, the New York Jets. They're taking Zach Wilson, the quarterback out of BYU. Zach Wilson is a day one, clear as day starter for the Jets. You saw the Jets get rid of Sam Darnold and trade him off to the Carolina Panthers. Yeah, that's a good, not association, but a good way to say give Darnold to the Panthers and have him be their future. But the Jets now are building around Zach Wilson, and they want to win now for a franchise that hasn't had a couple winning seasons. But I believe Zach Wilson is the pick here for the New York Jets.
Any quarterback who's drafted in the first round, I always believe, should be starting day one. Otherwise, I would ask why you drafted him if you clearly needed a quarterback. So now I've got the third pick, and this is it was a developing situation that was that unfolded in late March. San Francisco trading up for the third pick. And because of that, with the third pick, if I'm San Francisco and John Lynch, I'm drafting Mac Jones, the quarterback from Alabama, national champion quarterback last year. Here's a pocket passer, and the NFL is transitioning into being a mobile quarterback. But Anthony, the 49ers offensive coordinator, Kyle Shanahan, has worked with plenty of good pocket passing quarterbacks, Kirk Cousins, Matt Ryan, Jimmy Garoppolo, and now Mac Jones.
I believe it's a great pick for San Francisco. And now I have the fourth pick in the NFL draft, and I'm with the Atlanta Falcons. I'm taking Penei Sewell. Sewell's their option here. Yeah, Matt Ryan's getting up there in age, and the Falcons, they would need a quarterback, but you need a protector quarterback, and you need offensive line protection. So I believe Penei Sewell is the answer here, and he's going to be a day one starter for the Atlanta Falcons. And I hate to say it as a Bucs fan, but this is a great, amazing pick for the Falcons.
It absolutely is, because when the next quarterback comes in, he's already going to have that protection, that foundation in front of him blocking in Penei Sewell. So the Bengals, and all the talk this offseason has been they need to get a protector offensive lineman for Joe Burrow. And while I do believe that, I don't necessarily think that means they have to draft Penei Sewell. Well, now that he's gone to the Falcons, they can't draft him. So that leaves me with the guy that I've wanted for the last several months, and that is Jamar Chase, the wide receiver from LSU. Hasn't played in 2 years, but has that connection with Joe Burrow, 20 touchdown catches in the 2019 season when LSU won 15-0 and won the national championship. Here's a guy who went up against the best defensive backs perhaps in the country in the SEC, is physical, and provides Joe Burrow with another downfield weapon opposite T. Higgins.
I believe it's a good pick. Now, here's Miami with their sixth pick. Rashawn Slater out of Northwestern, the tackle. Miami, you got receivers in free agency. You got Will Fuller. You already have Devontae Parker, and you have Tua Tagovailoa. And if you want Tua to be your day one starter, which he already is, but Rashawn Slater is the guy you need here because protection-wise, and he's a big offensive lineman. He's fast, he's physical, he's strong mentally, everything you need here at this pick. And I believe Rashawn Slater is the answer at number 6.
Yep. And if Tua is the franchise quarterback of the future, whoever it is, they need some protection. Rashawn Slater can provide that for him. So I got the Lions at number 7. Devontae Smith, the reigning Heisman Trophy winner from Alabama. Unbelievable performance in the college football playoff in both games. The Lions, new quarterback in Jared Goff, they need some playmakers. Smith doesn't have the biggest frame for a receiver that I would like. Excuse me. But he is dynamic. You can use him multiple different ways. Go routes, whether it be end around, strict plays, whatever it may be. Here's a double reverse, misdirection. That's what Devontae Smith can provide for you with his dynamic abilities.
Now I got the 8th pick. It's the Carolina Panthers. Like I said previously, the Jets traded to Carolina, and they gave them Sam Darnold. You got your quarterback now, and you already have receivers as Robbie Anderson, and you have Christian McCaffrey as a running back. Right here, you got a player, Kyle Pitts, the tight end out of Florida, who is this pick for the Panthers. He's a strong, physical, fast, agile player, and if I'm right, he didn't drop a single pass this past season in at Florida. He's an amazing all-time, all-around player, and I believe he's the pick for the Carolina Panthers.
It's a great pick because it allows you to have multiple playmakers on your offense, and that gives defenses another factor to consider when game planning to face Carolina. Number 9, I got Denver. I think they are going to go quarterback here, Anthony, and that's Trey Lance out of North Dakota State. This makes sense to me. Drew Lock is clearly not the answer. They're in a win-now league. Denver has some young talent, Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, Philip Lindsay, the running back. Their offensive line is still a work in progress. It needs to shore up a bit, but there is something with Denver's offense, and I think that Trey Lance can elevate it and make Denver somewhat of a contender in the AFC West. They're not going to be the Chiefs, but
No,
that allows the lower third or the 3 out of the 4 teams beat up on each other. If you have a quarterback that can change the game, that's what Denver needs in Trey Lance.
100% agree with that. Now, I got the 10th pick, and in my personal opinion, not America's team, the Dallas Cowboys, but
No, they're not.
no. The Dallas Cowboys select Patrick Surtain II, the cornerback out of Alabama. You look this past 2020 season and even 2019 season, Dallas, their secondary hasn't been on point, it just hasn't been it hasn't been good. They've been letting way too many pass balls get in, they've been pass receivers, and their secondary and corners haven't really produced, in my opinion. And a guy like Patrick Surtain II is a star-studded name, and I believe this is the answer here. And you're gonna see he's aggressive, agile, fast, physical, everything you look for in a corner. And he went to Alabama and just won a national championship.
Coming out of the SEC, going to a team that definitely needs help. They're losing Jadobi Awuzie to the Bengals in free agency, playing in a division in the NFC East that doesn't have a lot of playmakers outside of maybe Washington. Good pick there. So I got the Giants now, another NFC East team at 11. Their defense is fine. I think what they've done on that side of the ball has been nothing short of really, really good. They need some help on the offensive line for Daniel Jones. It's not the best. Andrew Thomas, don't really know what he's going to do. First round pick last year. That's why we're going to take another tackle here in the first round this year. Christian Darrisaw out of Virginia Tech.
I like the pick. And now you got pick 12 with the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm taking wide receiver Jalen Waddle out of Alabama. And with the Eagles, they have Jalen Hurts as their quarterback, but their coach did say that they're considering taking a quarterback in later rounds for open competition and seeing what Jalen Hurts is up to and if he can compete with other quarterbacks. Because I know they just signed Joe Flacco to the Philadelphia Eagles, but Jalen Hurts, he went to Alabama and he also went to Oklahoma. And you have Jalen Waddle here, who just recently graduated from Alabama. You got that connection. And I believe that Jalen Waddle is the answer for the Philadelphia Eagles. at number 12, and he's that star-studded wide receiver that they've been always looking for.
Well, they've needed one for a long time, that's for sure. It's been a revolving door of receivers in Philly. Number 13 with the Chargers. Here's a team that has their star-studded quarterback, young quarterback in Justin Herbert, rookie of the year for a reason. He's uberly talented, but he needs some protection so he doesn't have to run for his life every play. That's why we're going to give him Elijah Vera Tucker out of USC. Played in the Pac-12. Heck, same conference as Justin Herbert. Probably knows some things about Justin Herbert. Those two should mesh well together, or at least Vera Tucker protects Herbert well enough to where Herbert can make plays to a receiving core that actually has some talent. And that's why I'm going Vera Tucker at 13.
All right, I have the 14th pick. I'm taking Trayvon Moehrig to the Minnesota Vikings. Yeah, the Minnesota Vikings have Patrick Peterson, but Patrick Peterson, he's on the end of his career. He's on the end of his NFL stages. I believe he had his star-studded days in Arizona before, and you got Trayvon Moehrig, a young, agile kid, or not even kid, adult, and he's all over the place. He's making plays. He'll learn fast in their defensive scheme, and I believe that's their answer here.
Vikings do need some help in their secondary. That is for sure. So now I've got New England, and it's funny, Anthony. About a month ago, before all the lawsuits on Deshaun Watson came in, I think they could have made a run and gotten him in free agency or
I
trade.
100% agree.
A trade, but they don't have him now. So I think they're still going to pull the trigger here and go quarterback and take Justin Fields out of Ohio State. He reminds me a little bit of Cam Newton, but he's a better thrower than Cam Newton. That's why we're going to draft him. They don't have a lot of receivers in New England that are proven. Edelman retired, but you have the quarterback.
Right. Now you got pick 16, the Arizona Cardinals. I'm taking cornerback J.C. Horn out of South Carolina. Like I just said with 14, the Arizona Cardinals just lost Patrick Peterson, and you're going to need the young kid to come in here and learn in that secondary scheme, and he's going to fit well in this scheme, I believe. And he's a learning faster cornerback, I believe. And this is a good pick for Arizona.
It is, especially when you consider that their defensive line is fine. I think for the most part they can get after the quarterback. They also have Buda Baker in that secondary that can help J.C. Horn. Their offense is fine; they'll put up points. So now I got Las Vegas at number 17. As you said, Anthony, their offensive line has been gutted this offseason.
Gutted, like a gutter.
Probably a stalwart as far as what position group was a strength of theirs. It was the offensive line. They need to protect Derek Carr. Derek Carr has some weapons to work with in Darren Waller and Henry Ruggs, but those plays need to develop. Henry Ruggs has got to get downfield. The way you do that is you protect him. So we're going to go with Landon Dickerson out of Alabama, offensive lineman, can come in and just protect Derek Carr. That's what he needs to do.
All right, I got pick 18. The Miami Dolphins have pick 18. I am taking Azizi Ojulari, the edge rusher out of Georgia. Looking back at this season, he had an amazing season, I believe, and the Dolphins could use that extra, not craziness, but like strongness, agile edge rusher out of Georgia with Azizi Ojulari. The man's quick, he's fast. I believe in this guy, and I think he could be the next Shaq Barrett, in my personal opinion. Comparing him to Shaq Barrett, they got the same play style. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with this pick.
It's a strong comparison there. I know you're a big fan of Shaq Barrett, Tampa Bay. Ojulari, great Peach Bowl. Obviously, I saw him as a Bearcats fan play when they played Georgia, and he was a wrecking ball in that second half. So I got Washington. Interesting pick here because Alex Smith has retired. The future is now in the hands of Taylor Heineke. That's a team need, according to Pro Football Focus. I don't necessarily think they should take a quarterback. I think you need to, have your belief in Heineke, give him a full year where he knows he's going to be the starting quarterback. They're finding a receiver. They got some weapons. Both Sims, Cam, and Steve, and then Terry McLaurin, who has had a really, really good first 2 seasons in the league. They need some help on the offensive line. That's why we're going to take Tevin Jenkins out of Oklahoma State, best offensive lineman available per my consulted source, Dane Brugler's draft guide.
All right, that leaves me with the 20th pick with the Chicago Bears. I'm taking Elijah Moore, the wide receiver out of Mississippi. Now, thinking about it like this, you have Allen Robinson. Allen Robinson, he doesn't want to be there. And you have Andy Dalton at a quarterback, and you have some other weapons for him. But Elijah Moore, I believe, will be your franchise wide receiver. And he's strong, fast, agile. He's all over. He's basically the best receiver you can have for this draft and at this pick. He's he's the perfect pick for Elijah for the Chicago Bears.
This is a great pick because for Andy Dalton this year, and if they draft a quarterback in next year's class, they have someone in place for that quarterback to throw to. So now we're with the Colts. In 21, I like the way this Colts team is built. Yes, Anthony Costanzo retiring doesn't help much, but that offensive line is still strong. Defensively, they're one of the most stout defenses in the league. Darius Leonard anchoring that front seven. But they need a playmaker for Carson Wentz coming over in free agency. Frank Reich, still the head coach there. Really, really nice job his first 3 seasons. He knows Carson Wentz was his offensive coordinator in 2017 when Wentz was an MVP candidate. We need to give him some weapons. T.Y. Hilton's good, but he hasn't been all that great the last few years. Let's give Carson Wentz Kadarius Toney, the wide receiver from Florida, to help the Colts offense, which fundamentally is really good. They can run the football well, but they need to have that big playmaker downfield, and Kadarius Toney can give them that.
With its 22nd pick in the draft, the Tennessee Titans are taking Caleb Farley out of Virginia Tech, another ACC player, played for Virginia Tech. I watched some of his games. He's a great player, and Tennessee needs secondary help. You have a good defense already, and if you get Caleb Farley and you already have your offensive weapons, I believe you in the next 1 to 2 years, this could be a Super Bowl team. Mark my words that they have if you get Caleb Farley and some other players to fill some small holes, you'll make the Super Bowl in the next 1 to 2 years. But I think this is a good pick with Caleb Farley.
I'll mark your word that they're going to be a Super Bowl team, and I think they already are a contender for that. They have the offense to do it. They just need some help in that back half of their defense. Getting Bud Dupree to shore up the pass rush is a great signing, but they need some help, as you said, in that secondary. Caleb Farley can do that. Let's go to the Jets. What a clown show of an organization that is. They need some help for Zach Wilson. They got him at the 2nd pick. You took him. Now I'm going to give you some help on the offensive line. Alex Leatherwood from Alabama. Alabama's produced a bevy of offensive linemen over the years. Leatherwood's the latest addition to that class.
Now with the 24th pick at Pittsburgh, I'm taking Walker Little, the tackle out of Stanford. Look, listen to this. You have you have Big Ben. He's not going to be there much longer. Maybe 1 to 2 years. I don't know, give or take. And then you already have Juju Smith-Schuster. You have receivers. Your offensive line is going to need more depth, more protection for Ben Roethlisberger. Keep him healthy. And you need to protect quarterback first for playmakers to make plays and not get hit. And Walker Little is a great pick for this Pittsburgh Steelers.
It is for Big Ben this year and for when they eventually draft his successor, however they get him. So I got the Jaguars here. This was a trade down from this is a trade from the Rams, excuse me. So they have the 25th pick. We need to give Trevor Lawrence some weapons. He's got DJ Chark, who I like as a receiver, but we need to give him another one. Let's give him Rashad Bateman out of Minnesota. I'm sure he won't mind coming to play in sunny Florida from Minnesota.
Everyone loves Florida, honestly. Now,
I can agree with that.
I got the 26th pick, and I got the Cleveland Browns. What an organization this is. Let's just say that from going from back-to-back seasons of the number 1 pick, and now you have the 26th pick. Right now, I believe they are going to take Micah Parsons, the linebacker out of Penn State. You already have – your defense is strong enough right now, But Micah Parsons, adding him, that is an amazing pick because you have Myles Garrett on the line and he can play both sides of the ball, and you can have Micah Parsons on the defense. He can also play both sides of the ball. He is a great linebackers out of Penn State are good picks. I believe this will be a great pick for Cleveland if Micah falls to them.
It helps with the protection behind the defensive line. The great way to put it, Anthony. 2016, 2017, and 2018, they had the number one overall pick in the draft, 1-31 in 2 seasons. And the next thing you know, 3 years later, they're coming off an 11-5 season playoff win. It is one of the more remarkable turnarounds in the NFL's history, maybe even professional sports history of that matter. So now I've got the Ravens, division rival. They just sent Orlando Brown to the Chiefs for the 31st pick, but they got the 27th pick first. They need an offensive lineman now. And we're going to take Samuel Cosme from Texas.
I like the pick. And now I have the 28th pick, another division rival in the NFC South. Look, Saints fans, you need a wide receiver. You gutted half your team in free agency because you're paying some certain players so much money and you were over the cap space. And I believe Terrace Marshall Jr. is the best pick here for the Saints because he went to LSU. He's from the area. He's local. So and you have the connection. Yeah, are the Saints going to be a playoff team this year? I don't think so. Just because you lose Drew Brees and you have two quarterbacks that are going to be battling it out with Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston, but Terrace Marshall Jr. is a great pick here for the New Orleans Saints.
It is a great pick. Compliment Michael Thomas. Played in LSU, not too far from New Orleans. Give Jameis Winston or Taysom Hill a really good wide receiver to throw to. So now I've got Green Bay. And while a team need is a wide receiver, I would argue a more of a team need for them is that of linebacker. And that's why I'm going to take Greg Newsome out of, I'm sorry, why did I say linebacker? Cornerback, Anthony's what they need. Because I watched whoever that was, Kevin King, let Scotty Miller run right by him to end the first half of the NFC title game this past year. They need help immensely at the quarterback position, and that's why I'm going to give them Greg Newsome II out of Northwestern.
And you just did. So I'll go to Green Bay's pick. Green Bay has Rondell Moore, the wide receiver.
Oh, I thought, are we, because you mentioned you put it in wrong in your Pro Football Focus simulator.
Oh, okay, my bad.
I was just doing what we had done originally before we came on.
That's my bad.
I took, no, you're fine. I took Greg Newsome for Green Bay.
Okay. So I had it wrong originally. That's my fault. And so going on with the 31st pick, the Baltimore Ravens select Christian Barmore, the defensive lineman out of Alabama. The Ravens, like I said, just took the Kansas City Chiefs pick, and in this draft, you need defensive line. You need one of the bigger linemen, a physical, strong lineman on that line. I think Barmore is the guy. He just won a national championship with Alabama. The guy is amazing out of Bama. Watching his highlights, he's just all over the place. He's crazy. He's just everything you want, and this is the perfect guy for the Baltimore Ravens.
This is, and I think you can agree, Anthony, because you're a Tampa Bay fan. They have talent everywhere. They just need some depth. Let's give them Kwity Paye from Michigan to create that competition between JPP, Shaq Barrett, Ndamukong Suh. Because keep in mind, Ndamukong Suh is getting up there in age.
I think this is his last season as a Buccaneer and in the football league.
Yeah,
just because he also has a kid. He has two kids.
Philip Rivers has 9, and he just retired. So that's a good point to bring up there.
Yeah. So I think he'll retire after this year, and then you have Kwity Paye, and he's going to be part of our future. But this will conclude today's episode, and thank you so much for watching. Thank you again, Alex, or also known as Frankie, for joining today's episode. And let us know in the comments what you like, what you don't like, agree or disagree with us. Comment your favorite team, if that's what you really want to do. And don't forget, like, comment, subscribe, and be out for the next episode, probably after the draft, reacting to this year's draft. But thank you so much for watching today.
It was good to be on, Anthony. Thank you again.
Thank you.